Hello pilots and welcome to this special X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Art Gaming. As always, my name is Phil and today we have an epic showdown between myself and Wes. We decided that we wanted 40 points of absolute craziness on the table. Wes is going to be running a Separatist list. I'm going to be running a Rebel list. We've got 2 epic ships on the board, a couple of wings, and some other ships to throw down for you. Now, this was a long game, but we have tried to edit this down to be as concise as possible for you. With it being an epic size game, some of the rules we may have got slightly wrong, but we are hoping to get some more epic down on the table for you. Let us know in the comments what you think of the video, what you liked about it, if there's anything else you'd like us to tweak, because we're trying a few new things with this larger size game. But we're just running through the setup. We're going to jump into turn 1 in just a moment and we'll run through exactly what we both have on the table for you. And there we go, setup is done. We are into turn 1. We're not doing any scenarios or anything for this game. It's just going to be a big old dogfight. So half points are on the table. But let's have a look at those lists. As we said, we are running 40 points. We both have an epic size ship. So for Wes, he is running Separatist. He's got the Colicoid Destroyer Trident. You can see just down in the bottom left-hand side of the screen. That is running with Tuuk, Proton Torpedoes, Jango Fett, Boba Fett, Optimized Power Core, and the Trident title. He's got pre-Vizsla in the Gauntlet with Enduring, Veteran Tail Gunner, Cluster Mines, Contraband Cybernetics, and the Swivel Wing title. Up there at the top left, we've got Darth Maul with Hate, Foresight, and Perceptive Copilot. And now on the top left of the screen, we've got the Bombardment drone with Proximity Mines. General Grievous has just moved up there. He's got Marksmanship and the Soulless One title. We have a wing of droids, Vulture droids. We've got the Precise Hunter with the Veteran Wing Leader ability, allowing him to have more Vulture droids with him. And those Vulture droids are 3 Trade Federation drones with homing missiles and the grappling struts. On my side, we have the Tantive. We've got Ramus Antilles. This is one of the standard loadout Tantives. We thought we'd give it a try. We like the thematics of having Leia, R2, C3PO, the Tantive 4 title, and the turbo laser battery. We've got Callus in the Ghost, as we can see on screen, with fire control system, dorsal turret, Zeb Aurelius, the Ghost title, and the Phoenix Squadron wing card, which allows you to have up to 5 A-wings around you in a really interesting pattern that we did have to Google again before we actually came, because we've lost the booklet that shows us how to do this. Docked on Callus at the moment, we have AP5 in the Sheather P with Bo-Katan Kryze, R3 Astromech, and the Phantom title. Those 4 A-Wings that we have, we've got Ahsoka Tano with Brilliant Evasion, Instinctive Aim, Proton Rockets, and the Munitions failsafe. We've got Shara Bay just behind her with Marksmanship, Cluster Missiles, Munitions failsafe. Arvel Crinid is on the left-hand side. He has Intimidation. And backing up Arvel just behind, we've got Derek Clivian with Marksmanship and Cluster Missiles. And we had a couple spare points, so we thought Dutch Vander in the Y-Wing would be a really good option with his target lock sharing abilities. He has Mark Sable Closure, Dorsal Turrets, Ion Missiles, and the R3 Astromech. So a lot of ships on the table. Some ships you may be wondering where they actually are. That is the wing of Vulture droids. Because of Tuuk, who is a command upgrade on the Trident, you can actually keep them off the board. So after placing forces, choose one friendly wing of ships with the calculate ability on their action bars and place that wing in reserve. During the end phase, you may place that wing within your deployment area or be on range 2 of any enemy ship. Then you may choose one enemy ship at range 0 to 1 of you. Each ship in that wing acquires a lock on it. So he's kept those droids off to the side for the time being to sneak them in later and see what crazy shenanigans we can do. Now, those of you that aren't so familiar with the epic ships, obviously they've got a lot of health. You can see the Colicoid destroyer's got 10 hull and 4 shields, and my Tantive has 18 hull and 7 shields. They use a special widget when it comes to moving. As you can see right there with the Colicoid, it's doing quite a fast move in. So rather than put the template at the front, because just imagine even doing a 1 forward with a regular template is going to be a huge jump. So you put it at the side, slide it across, you hook it in if you're going to do a turn. If they run you over, they can be devastating. They also have a number of charges on their ship as well, which allows them to do some of the extra cool stuff. So with the optimized power core, the Colicoid has 4 charges and they are double recurring each turn. They're going to be really handy to use the point defense that he actually has on there, which I've just noticed is not on the overlay, but the Colicoid has the point defense, which he can spend 1 charge to a bonus attack at range 1 to 2 with 2 red dice, and you can just keep doing that. So you can spend all 4 charges and just take a lot of shots there. My Tantive will recover 2 shields a turn and 2 energy, and has the turbo laser batteries, which is 3 dice, range 3 to 5. It's a bonus attack, spend 3 charges, so 3 energy, and if this attack hits, you add 3 hit results. That is absolutely crazy, especially when you're starting with 7 energy. That can be absolutely brutal. But it looks like we've got our first set of shooting here. That looks like it's going into Grievous. And he is laughing it off so far. Having to spend that focus to avoid some of that very long range shooting there from the A-Wings. Obviously with such a wide board, it's the usual 3 across, and we're about 5.5 in length. So we've got a lot of distance to cover, but again, those epic ships can move quite quickly when they need to. But it looks like we're having a bit of a straight up dogfight in the middle between Vizsla and Callus. But here is a cheeky ion missile from Dutch Vander going at Grievous. That's a good set of hits there. So likely to take at least 1 damage. Oh, that's a damage and an ion on Grievous. Gotta love that. That is what you want to do early doors. Grievous, he can be quite brutal if he gets in on the side of me. Marksmanship against a ghost, not ideal. Now, obviously, we've got those wing leader cards on there. So we've got the veteran wing leader on the precise hunter, which again allows you to form a wing with 2 or up to between 2 or 5 other ships of your ship type. And while you defend, up to 2 of your wingmates may in the attack arc may suffer 1 hit or crit damage to cancel a matching result. So you can really spread that damage out and keep those ships alive. Similar with the Ghost as well, you can use that to spread the damage around with those A-Wings. So, Bit of inconsequential fire there in the first round. Again, with Epic, you don't expect to get a lot going in turn one, but things are going to start getting in close now. Those Epic ships are going to start actually getting into the fray. So far, Wes has scored a couple of points from half-pointing Ahsoka there from a cheeky shot from pre-Vizsla. Grievous is Ion, so that's not going to be ideal for him. We'll have to see how pre-Vizsla handles getting out of his way there. And with the wings in Epic, you will move at your wing leader's initiative, but then you shoot at the individual ship's initiative, and you don't have to use a dial for all of those ships in the wings. So really nice method of speeding up those Epic games. As I said, this game took us about I think it was 2 hours we were playing the game for, and it didn't feel like it was dragging. It felt like a really good solid game. Again, you got lots more pieces on the board and they were moving quite quickly. A lot of dice being rolled as well, but that's a nice move there from pre-Vizsla. Looks like he is going to join up with Maul and see if he can start focusing down that Tantive, because those large base ships, those Epic ships, are quite a handful. They've got a lot of shields, and you've got to take those shields down before the hull starts going, and then they will just regenerate shields at the end of the turn. So you've either got to just ignore them and hope they don't beat you up, or just go full in on them. So they are a lot of points. The Tantive is 12 points, and the Colicoid is 11. So a lot of points there if you can take them out. But getting them down to half is not going to be easy. Getting them down to half and keeping them down to half is going to be even harder. But looks like checking for Dutch's range to give some target locks around. Grievous is in a not particularly nice position for him, having been ionized. And moving up at least one target lock. I believe that's Ahsoka's target lock that has been moved up there. And here comes Callus with his A-Wing group. Looking to get into a position to probably swing round and see if he can take on that squid. Now, your normal wings are actually a little bit easier to maneuver. You get a really cool little wing tool for either just a 4-wing or a 6-wing that you can move up. With the Ghost, you don't get that wing tool, so you've got to fiddle around with it. But we found the best way was to use the 1-speed template, almost like you were barrel rolling a medium base ship, to line up that first A-wing, and then your range 1 ruler actually is the perfect distance from the front and back of the next A-wing, so you can pop that alongside and line it up on the guide. It was actually quite nice to have that. Once we've figured that out, have that so that we can really keep the game moving quite quickly. But here comes the squid, and we're looking at doing a turn. So as you can see, hooking that template in, you've got the notches on there, so that's a big 3 turn from the squid. So the little notches, obviously 1, 2, and 3, they can go up to a 5-speed forward. Obviously you've got blue maneuvers, white maneuvers, and red maneuvers on there as well. Red maneuvers actually, whilst they cause you stress, they actually just drain your shields rather than actually taking a stress on there. It's a very interesting mechanic, and we really like it. And you can see the arc pattern on there. It's got a good big forward arc on the Colicoid. When you can just about see it on the Tantive as well, but when you've got the overhead there properly, you'll see that the Tantive is very good at broadsiding. So you don't want to fly that straight down the middle. You want to get that. You don't want to fly it straight at your opponent. You want to fly it through the middle where it can get its broadsides in. But we have chucked that turbo laser battery on the front there as well. There we go, you can see the arc there at the side. We've got that turbo laser battery on the front just to give a bit of extra firepower. So you've got a 270 firing arc, and again, range 3 to 5 with that gun. So that can really throw the damage out quite far. And they move at initiative 8, so they move after everything else, but they shoot at initiative 1 or 0 depending on the platform. So these both shoot at initiative 0, so they are the very last things to shoot, which means you could strip down any focus tokens they've got, or they could be picking off ships that have taken an absolute pounding prior. But just checking, we've got range 4 onto Grievous from the Tantive there, so looks like we are actually, I think we have range 3 on pre-Vizsla, so we're popping that target lock there for the turbo laser. But it is down for Maul to go first. Wes has initiative, and he is the highest initiative on the board there after with Ahsoka. So range 3 giving me 1 evade dice, but that is 2 shields down on the Tantive. That's not a worry. I'll get those 2 shields back next turn, so. Now Ahsoka looking to do some damage into Grievous. Got range 2 there and in Grievous's arc, so none of his abilities are going to trigger for rerolls, but it's a good job I've got a target lock because that was a terrible shot there. Still not the best shot. But when you roll blanks on defense, it's not too bad. Again, in the forward arcs, the Soulless One not going to allow, Soulless One and Grievous ability not going to trigger there. Looks like we're going to be following up with Shara. So Grievous will be shooting first. Surprisingly, having this many ships on the board, we were actually able to keep track of who was firing in what order quite easily. Grievous just trying to find the optimal target there. And we'll see how many. So, oh, what an evade roll. That was going into Ahsoka. Absolutely brilliant. Didn't need brilliant evasion on there. That was a great roll. Makes up for her previous roll where she let 2 damage go through straight away, so happy about that. Now we've got Shara Bay, who is going to cluster missile to get that extra dice. And that is exactly what you want to see when you're spending some munitions, getting a really solid roll in there. Ooh, blank and focus, nothing to mod. That is going to be 3 damage all the way through. Grievous is in a bad spot right now. That is going to be some half points for myself as well. And this is Dutch going into pre-Vizsla. Lovely little range 1 in there. Ooh, 2 hits and a crit. Gonna have to spend the focus. Shields down. Nothing else really going to be able to go over that way though, so Not really easy for me to concentrate fire at the moment. I've only got a couple of things sort of sat here and there. Now, I could have potentially gone into Grievous with Dutch, but when you've got a range one shot like that on a large base ship, you kind of want to take that as soon as possible. And that's a pretty awful roll from the Ghost. That's not much better with the target lock into that bombardment drone. I'll be lucky if I even scratch the paintwork with that, and nope, no paintwork scratched. When you start rolling more dice, they get really fickle and just decide that they are not going to play very nicely at all. But Vizsla just checking to see if he catches the Ghost in the rear arc, which he does not. So veteran tail gunner, a great play there from Wes to get that in line, but not worked out. And oh, that focus spend earlier. That is unfortunate, but that is going to be a damage on to Dutch. But having to spend that focus, that really hurts there. Now, I've got to watch out for that bombardment drone as well, because it can launch devices as well as drop them. So, did we forget that? We'll have to wait and see. Fortunately for us at the moment, it does go at initiative 3, so it does move before my wing. So if Wes wants to drop it, it will be a little bit tricky for him. Oh, these red dice into that bombardment drone. He is being hard to hit this round. And great evade rolls. Another evade there from the bombardment drone. He is showing Grievous exactly how it should be done. Oh, that's better. And there we go, sneaking the crit through. And that is a damaged sensor array on the bombardment drone. I believe it's now time for the big boys to join the fight. And the first shot is a Proton Torpedo from the Colicoid. Proton Torpedo range 2 to 3, 4 dice, change 1 to a crit. It's a big, brutal shot. And that is a hit and 2 crits. 1 evade for Callus. Because of the modification of the dice, I get an additional evade dice, and which is handy because you don't get any on the Ghost. But just looking to see where we're going to spread that damage around, we can put 2 around. So it looks like we've got 1 going on to Shara Bay and 1 going on to Callus. And now for the energy spend on that point defense battery. Again, only range 1 to 2, but 2 dice, spend an energy to do it, and you can keep spending it until you can do it up to 4 times. So if you've got something that you're really wanting to get rid of, it's not a bad shout when you're getting close. So that's another one into the Ghost. And another one into the Ghost. And nothing on that one. I mean, that was a bit disappointing. That could have been 8 damage. But in the end, only 2. But we've got the regular attack coming in from the Tantive into Darth Maul. Hit double crit. Do I spend the focus or do I save that? There we go, aggression. So 4 hits into Maul, so definitely going to be taking a couple of shields there. So that will be 3 shields down on Maul. The Tantive can really hit hard, and it's going to be the turbo laser battery. Looks like that will be into Vizsla. Vizsla is at range 3. Now when this hits, I can add 3 hit results. So that is 2 hits and a crit there. So this is going to be quite a punishing shot onto Vizsla. Oh, he's taking all of it. That is 6 damage, so 5 hits and a crit onto Vizsla. That is... I mean, there's a reason that is only available for Epic and not available in your regular term, because that is just absolutely brutal. And let's just see what that crit is. And the crit on Vizsla is a stunned pilot, so quite a brutal turn, a lot of damage being thrown out there. We've got the end phase bringing in those Vulture droids, but coming at the end of turn 2, I have taken a bit of a lead, 5 points to 2 against Wes, but the reinforcements have arrived. Will they be the difference in that mid-board area? When will we see that proximity mine dropped? What is going to happen in the next turn? We will have to see in just a moment, but that was an explosive turn 2 there. And here we go with turn 3. Those Vulture droids are now on the board. What was looking like a nice clear bit of space for Callus and his crew is now looking a little bit more dangerous. Wes was having a look at possibly dropping the proximity mine just there. Then he realised that that bombardment drone would be going before everything else, and dropping a prox mine at that point probably not going to be the best. Well, launching a prox mine, should we say, probably not going to be the best choice for him, but he is now going to get in there and see if he can gum up the works. Those Vultures will be going next, as the Precise Hunter is the veteran wing leader, so we're going to get initiative 3. So what was looking like a lot of clear space for the Ghost and the A-Wings has now become a very congested hyperspace lane, so not entirely sure exactly where they're going to go. And that's a Contraband Cybernetics trigger from Vizsla. Going to stick there, and again, doesn't really have a lot of space to swing past and keep in the fight, really. Has the rear arc, so it could have been alright. There is the small wing tool in effect for those Vulture droids. Really, again, this is, I know we've had Epic for a while, but one of the biggest changes from first edition to second 2.5 of Epic was the introduction of that wing tool. Really speeds the game up. One dial, for up to 6 ships. You can't stress how good that is, and it's really interesting for formation flying as well, because if your wing leader does, I don't know, a 3 hard or a 3 bank and he's in the middle of a wing of 6, they're all going to stay in that pattern rather than going from that square to that sort of diamond shape when they bank. You don't have to think, right, I'm going left, the one on the left needs to do a 1, the middle one needs to do a 2, the one on the right needs to do a 3 so they can stay in formation. You just dial it in for your wing leader, everything else follows. It is really nice. Can make those wings really scary as well, because they're going to keep their guns on, and a 6-wing of TIE fighters or even a 6-wing of interceptors is a really scary prospect with the amount of guns that they can put out. Oh, lovely bit of flying there from Dutch. Pre-Vizsla doing the stop, not affecting Dutch in any way. He skips over with the 2 bank and rotates that dial. Looks like we're trying to take that Gauntlet out next. It's a big load of points if we can take it down, and the bombardment drone is going to force the bump from Callus. Now, when we put those A-wings up with them, they are going to be fine. A little bit of an interesting interaction that we weren't 100% sure on here. We did try and skim through the huge ship and epic battles rules to find it. When you're in the middle of the game, you don't want to take too long doing it, and it was moving the rest of the ships up. Obviously, Callus has bumped, so if he wants to, he'll have to take the stressful focus. Now, the other 4 A-wings haven't bumped, so we were there thinking, right, do they class as bumped because the wing leader bumped? In the end, we sort of moved on to some of the other ships whilst we were having a look. We couldn't find anything, so we went on the assumption that they did not bump, so they can action as normal. Now, those of you out there in YouTube land do play a lot more epic than us. Let us know in the comments, did we do that right? We would like to obviously know. We feel that we've done it right. We've done it as the sort of, as the rules feel, but let us know if that is actually the right way of doing it. We want to try and get some more epic back on the table. We want to make sure that if we're bringing epic to the table, we're doing it justice, we're getting those rules accurate, and we want to see some other ships on the board. And if you like epic, what ships do you want to see on the board as well? I mean, between myself and Wes, we've pretty much got all of the ships. I've got all of the epic ships, so I can put any of them on the board. Absolutely love running epic. I've run the Tantive now, the Raider, the Gazanti. I don't believe I have actually run the Sea Rock as well. I've not run the Trident yet, but we want to get some more on the board. Is there anything that you would be interested to see? Do you want to see sort of a classic Rebels versus Empire matchup? Do you want to see Republic versus Separatists? Let us know what you'd like to see on Epic, and we will see what we can do about getting that on the table at some point. But Grievous also running out of room there, so just doing the hard turn round, probably looking to see if he can delete one of those A-wings. And there was the point where we went, okay, they haven't bumped, they can action, so focus is all round for those A-wings. They've got some locks out there as well. And Grievous just grabbing a focus for himself as well. Sorry, Wes, I don't think you're going to be able to fit a boost in there. It would be nice. You probably would like to get away from those A-wings. You've got 2 health on Grievous, but I don't think the boost is going to fit. But Maul down here is slooping around to come in behind the Tantive. And with the big ships, it is a massive choice. Do you do everything you can to try and take those big ships out? Because as I said, with the recurring charges, with the recurring shields, they are a big challenge to take out, especially when you've got the two epic ships on opposite ends of the table. They're not really going to be interacting with each other. But you've either got to say, right, I'm going to take them all out. I mean, it's 12 points and 11 points between the two epics, so there's still a lot of points elsewhere on the board. But do you ignore them? Do you try and get those shields down and start taking into the hull? Or do you just go, right, well, actually, there's about 30 points of other ships that I can concentrate on, and if I can get those down before the epic, and the squid is backing up, looking like he wants to keep some nice space for his vultures next turn, and probably looking for a huge kill box in there with the ghost. The A-Wings have started taking some incidental damage. Obviously, Ahsoka's shield's down. Shara has taken a shield for the ghost. But looks like first shot is going to be Ahsoka. She is going to start work on those Vulture droids. Maybe a little bit of PTSD there for her from the Clone Wars, thinking, right, I know what these things can do. They are a pain. That's not bad. 2 hits off the bat. Range 3, though, a lot of... There we go. Again, I find biggest downside with A-Wings, only 2 dice in attack. They're really fast, really nippy, but only 2 dice in attack. It can, unless they're right in close. That is just... Spending force, 2 shields down on the Tantive. If Vizsla is still up, probably going to look to put some more damage in there. You want to be getting at least 3 or 4 shields down a turn on an epic ship where they recover the shields. Anything less is just almost wasted shots, unfortunately. And that's 1 more damage on Grievous. He is still up. And this is Dutch with the dorsal turret into Vizsla. Ooh, Vizsla is going to be up. Reroll because of enduring. Still got 2 health left on Vizsla. No, apologies. That was actually the Grievous as well. So ignoring Vizsla, got the Tantive there to deal with that. But that is going to be Grievous down. That is... That's not bad. Grievous is a handful. Little pocket ace there can be a nightmare, but he's kind of, since he got Ioned, he got a little bit nullified, not really able to do much there. Still going to be sticking around because we are in the I-4 step, so he will still get to have a little vengeance shot. That was Shara Bay that managed to... No, sorry, it was Dutch that took out Grievous. Shara Bay had a go as well, only got 1. Now it's the ghost into the vultures. And where they all picked up some locks earlier, they've only got that 1 calculated share between them, but that is going to be enough to say no thank you on the damage there. Here comes that final shot from Grievous. Look at the angle that is going to be going into Shara Bay there. Can't quite catch Ahsoka. Oh, that's a good shot. That is a good shot. That could. That does. Ooh, that is painful. Wes may have lost Grievous, but that is Shara Bay. Pretty much one hit KO'd there. Angry, angry General Grievous. So first ships go down in turn 3. Okay, and Vizsla is still hurting a bit. Ooh, just outside of range 1 there from Derek, but he does have a lock. So is this going to be cluster missiles? Yes, it is some cluster missiles going into that bombardment drone. Ideally want to take him out because he is more than likely going to be throwing a prox mine out the front at me in a moment. That's going to be 2 damage. Can Arvel finish him off? He's the last one who has a chance to finish off that bombardment drone, otherwise it will almost definitely be a proximity mine being dropped on me next turn. That is not going to be enough from Arvel there. That is really unfortunate. And there is the evade as well. So no more damage into that bombardment drone. He is going to be still up. He's going to have another. He's going to have a chance to have a shot. And he has. Yeah, that was tough. It would have been a nice couple of points, but also no proximity mine. Previously, going to see. Does he? He's got the veteran tail gunner as well, so he's in a really nice position. So that is 2 more shields off of the Tantive. So there we go. That's 4 shields this turn. That's not a bad return. Gonna keep those shields off for a little bit longer. And the return shot into Dutch only removes a shield. Got off fairly lightly there for Dutch, but that bombardment drone still being up is unfortunate. We've still got those Trade Federation droids to shoot as well. Gonna be some long range shooting. They were just out of range to get locks on the A-Wings, but then the squadron moved up. So that is into Callus. And the damage has been passed over to Derek on that one. It's the furthest away, so best option, not many things can shoot him. The bombardment drone, however, does have a nice shot there. Now, is at this point I'm going to have to start thinking about the decision. Do I keep the wing together and use the A-Wings as sort of extra health for the Ghost, or do I break the wing and look to scatter my A-Wings and use their full abilities to try and take down some of these little ships? Again, the difficulty is knowing that those Vulture droids will be going before the Ghost, regardless of who has initiative. The A-Wings potentially could get ahead if they do split. Arvel and Derek could get in there and force the bump the other way. Ooh, shield off of Arvel there instead of taking the crit on the Ghost. And that is the Disable Power Regulator Ion on to the Bombardment. Here comes the epic ships, Tantive going into pre-Vizsla. Got a big old shot there with the Tantive, 4 dice, but no mods, only hitting crit. See what the evade roll is. Ooh, taking that crit, so will survive, but this could be important. And the crit is Panicked Pilot, so triple stressed onto that Gauntlet. Not got a lot that it can do going forward. That is unfortunate for him. And not a bad shot back from the... a pretty good shot actually there from the Trident with the Proton Torpedoes. That is going into the Ghost. That is all going through. So I'm going to take 2 hits on the Ghost. Can dump 2 elsewhere to try and avoid that crit. So looks like we took a 3rd hit on the Ghost, and the crit is going on the shield of Derek. And now it is time for those point defense. The optimized power coil is... that is a fantastic upgrade that Wes has got on there, really allowing the Trident to bring that energy back up, because typically would only have 3 energy, but gets the 4th energy for the Trident title, and when he does a blue maneuver, recovers 1 energy as well. So the energy efficiency on the Trident is absolutely brilliant. So first point defense battery. There's 2 more on the Ghost. 2nd energy. Blank out, happy about that. I think he's got 1 energy left. No, that looks like the turn there, guys. So a massive turn 3 there. We had Grievous go down, Sharabe go down. The Ghost took an absolute pummeling. The Bombardment drone is now at half points, and there is that proximity mine right into Callus. Knew it was coming, tried our best to get rid of that Bombardment drone, but it was still there, ready to drop that. And that's a good amount of damage. So yeah, solid amount of damage into the Ghost there. Taking the Ghost down to 1 health, and as if to put salt into the wound. A cluster mine is being dropped on Dutch Vander, and 2 of those tokens are going to hit onto Dutch. How much damage does he end up taking? Just double checking exactly how many dice you roll for that, because hey, we forgot, we didn't have it written down, so just checking in the rules. But there we go. So rolling for the first, that is a crit. Rolling for the second, another hit. So it's a stunned pilot and a regular damage, which does half point Dutch. So going into the turn, it was 10 points to 8 in Wes's favour. With that half points on Dutch, now takes it to 12 to 8 in Wes's favour. But there is so much on the board that is hurting. Those points are going to rack up so quickly. I would be incredibly impressed if we still have Callus on the board, or even pre-Vizsla. So my apologies, we thought that Vizsla had used Contraband Cybernetics last turn for the stop. He's actually triggered it this turn, adding another stress token to his pile. But great little stop there. Again, you'd either be turning away or potentially running into the Tantive, which, big tip here, guys, don't try and run into those big ships. It can be quite devastating. The question is, how far away is Pre-Vizsla? Is he in ramming speed range of the Tantive? Because when a large base ship rams a large, medium, or small, that ship will take damage in response to the speed of the maneuver. So if it's at a 3, oh, that could do it. That would be really nice. Free up the guns as well. Dutch swooping in to support. Very little space there for the Ghost to move into. The bombardment drone wasn't able to complete his move. But Dutch, again, a brilliant support piece for the Rebels in most games anyway, but in this game, I think he's almost an auto-include, because he's just going to really up the efficiency of those wings. Dropping the target lock himself and then picking 2 ships within range 3 to get locks as well. And then when they move, again, they're going to... yeah, not going to clear that. They're going to be able to do their focus, double modding, everything that an A-Wing wants to have. Everything that most ships want to have double mods, so... And it is, again, it's a good job that Wes was playing Separatists. Not sure we'd have enough of these large focus tokens if we were not using ships with Calculate. And Maul coming back in the fight. Perceptive Copilot, such a good crew card on there. And here, oh, the Trident is backing up again. Wonder what he's scared of. You just thought he'd have enjoyed getting right in close there. Really able to utilize those point defense batteries. But look at the Trident's dial. Have a look. So I mean, the 1 speed backing up is white, so not going to give the epic ship a stress, which does drain energy. But he did also only have a 2. His only other fast, forward moves were a 2, so maybe that could have collided with. Oh, but here we go. The Tantive is coming around. Does the 3? Oh, we only did the 2. The 3 would have landed, but that 2 not quite fast enough. The 3 would have taken out pre-Vizsla really nicely, and that would have freed my guns up. As it stands, might have to rely on Dutch to do a rear shot to get that Gauntlet out. The Tantive does have a shot out the front, but it's the turbo laser battery, which is range 3 to 5, so got nothing to go into pre-Vizsla there. It is all up to Dutch, if Dutch can take him out with the dorsal. And just checking to see if Foresight does trigger on Maul. It looks like that bullseye is just out. Yeah, just out on the bullseye there, so close. But his shots are going to be going into the Tantive. Because it's in the rear arc though, I am going to be able to roll a defense die. But a couple more shields coming off there. Now, I will say, looking at the build for the Tantive, it probably would have been a better idea to have it closer in with the rest of my ship, so it can really support there, especially with the Layer Organa upgrade. So after a friendly ship range 0 to 3 is destroyed, choose another ship at range 0 to 3, it may perform a boost or focus action. That could have been quite handy. And also, you can put the hardpoint guns on the rear of the ship, so you can actually set which peg they're on. So you can either really push your turbo lasers for long range and have it on the front peg, or if you want to make them a little bit more efficient, you can have them on the back peg. And each peg has its own arcs as well. Oh, and that is pre-Vizsla down. Blank out from the dorsal turret shot from Dutch. Double crits as well. And that is an initiative kill as well. The points are now tied back up, and our pool of tokens has been refreshed from all of the ones that pre-Vizsla had. We now have stress tokens to use for any other ship that happens to get stressed, but that is good. That is quite nice and handy. Frees up space for the Tantive to try and get into the fight there. But what can we do about these vultures? There's a lot of guns pointing in my direction. The Ghost, not particularly efficient there. As the calculator say, no thank you, and also that looks like it was going into the Precise Hunter, so have been able to half point one of those droids, so that is a cheeky little 1 point there for me, currently giving me a 13 to 12. Oh no, sorry, not half pointed there. But yeah, those drones as well, only 2 points each, so half pointing or taking one out isn't really going to do the most amount for me. But I still have my surprise AP5 ready to turn up as and when needed. And that looks like it's going to be it. Debating taking 1 damage on Arthur, maybe spreading that out and keeping the ghost up, but it's now at that point of, do I really want to be spreading that damage too far, or do I just lose the ghost who is already shot? Yep, ghost is now down. Huge points jump there for Wes. Remembering just as I'm about to put it off that I do have AP5 to drop out. And again, having to recheck the disembark rules. Don't really use many ships that use disembark. Obviously in standard play it's typically what, the Ghost and the Houndstooth and Lando's Millennium Falcon. But now back up to setting more dials. That wing is now broken. Oh, big shot into Arvel there. Oh, that was not particularly nice. Arvel was now shields down, more half points going towards Wes. Can the A-Wings start getting some damage in? So Derek has the lock on the bombardment drone, so we are going to see a cluster missile here. So bombardment drone is going to take the first cluster missile. Will he go down? That's a good shot. No mods for the bombardment drone. Finally, he goes down. Better late than never. Would have been good if we got down before the prox mine went off. But cluster missile takes him out. And the second shot looks like it's going to be going towards red now. Thank the Force for the focus there. And 2 points into 2 damage into red. Not enough to take him out. Can AP5 finish him off in a moment? It is going to be down to those vultures to get their shots in first though. And we currently have no mods and no shields across my 3 A-Wings here. This is starting to get a bit scary. Before the end of the turn, we still have the Trident to shoot, so one shot down. So far, so good. Oh, taking one. They're on Arvel. Checking that range 3, so 2v3. Oh, double focus, gonna spend both calculates there. Double hit coming in onto Arvel. Need the evades, otherwise we are losing another A-wing. That is not going to be ideal. Let's see what we get. Oh, missed out by the wrong bit of paint. That is Arvel credit down. That is... Was sharing the damage earlier the right call to keep the ghost up, or did that just cost me an A-wing? It is hard to say, but the ghost has a big 4-dice shot, fire control, dorsal turret. Yes, we missed that we have Zebranius on there, so we could have had some good range 0 action, but AP5 not able to take out that red Vulture droid. What can the Trident do here? Are we about to lose Derek? It is a range 3 obstructed shot, 5 dice in defense, not close enough for the point defense. That is 3 hits. That's big. I need at least 2 evades on these dice. That is not enough evades. There is no focus. That is Derek down as well. A huge turn for Wes. 20 points on the board. And many, many more ships. That was a really brutal turn. Final shot is going to be from the Tantive back into Maul. Range 1, so it's a big shot. Oh, would have loved to have had a mod there, just the 2. And shields down on Maul. Not the best shot there, but that's what happens. What an explosive turn 4. We've got one more turn for you guys coming up. Let's see if I have any small base ships left by the end of turn 5. And we're back. Turn 5. Last turn was absolute brutality for myself. I lost 3 ships to Wes's 2, giving him quite a good lead there. Not a lot of points without looking towards the Tantive for Wes to score here though, but Dutch Vander and Ahsoka could be giving up a solid amount of points there, and AP5 as well, who did obviously take damage on the emergency disembark from the Ghost. So this is going to be close. Can I start whittling down some of those vultures and get some precious points in there to even up this score? All I'll say is this was such a fun game to play. It was great to have so many ships on the board, including those epic ships. But that is becoming quite a tight fit in the middle. Looks like red and blue. Red and yellow, sorry, are not going to be able to actually fit in there within the wing. So they are going to bump into AP5. Suddenly me having an initiative 1 is proving as a benefit. So bump and red calculate there for red. Green, yellow even does not take a damage on the bump. And blue does complete his move there. Now that is leaving a really awkwardly tight space for Dutch and Ahsoka to get in. Will Dutch is doing a straight move. Will that actually leave him on the obstacle? No, he does manage to avoid the obstacle, so he does get over. So there will be a shot from Dutch there. He is taking the red focus. I don't think there's any reason not to take the red focus at this point. And will Maul actually bump into the back of, or into the side of the Tantive? No, he fits. No, he does bump in there. Now again, we had a quick look at the rules because obviously bumping from a large, an epic base into a smaller base ship is going to be causing a lot of damage there. And from memory, I believe if it's the other way around, it's just like a normal bump. But again, if you do know, we don't have the rules right in front of us, but if you do know, let us know in the comments because we'd be interested there. Ahsoka does bump, would have cleared through had the vultures not there. So the vultures were the one causing the bump, so allowing for the red focus. But now the Trident comes back in big and angry. Plenty of energy to throw some point defense batteries around. This could be a very, again, another explosive turn from the Separatists. The moment those Vulture droids joined in the battle, it took a little bit of a turn for myself. Going from having 8 ships on the table to now just the 4. And again, I elected for the option of just ignoring the Trident there. There we go, just trying to get the Tantive move right. Bring him right up in there. Finally, those two epic ships get a chance to stare each other down. If I wanted to, I do have range to get a lock onto the Trident, but it's more likely that those shots, we're going to be popping them straight into the middle there and seeing if we can pop some Vulture droids. Are turbo laser batteries overkill on a Vulture droid? Maybe. Are we okay with it? Fully okay with it. But Wes kicking off the proceedings there with Maul. Using C-3PO, who can, at the cost of a strain, change one focus to an evade there. Again, not really necessary, but it's one of those, I've got a thing to use, so I may as well give it a go. So only taking one shield there on Ramus Antilles in the Tantive 4. What can Ahsoka do here? Range 1. Spend the focus. This is into blue. Apologies, that's actually into the precise hunter there for the range 1. And this is where, again, veteran wing leader, or those wing leader cards is going to come in very handy, able to spread that damage around. So don't have to take both of them on to the Precise Hunter and lose him. So that's one on Precise Hunter, one on blue. Dutch Vander is up next. Can he finish off the Vulture? And that looks like it's a yes. One of those Vultures is going down. Is it blue or red? It's going to be blue. Blue is down, so that is some points scored there, closing up. Now need AP5 to actually finish off one more and survive, but it's going to be very close going into the final minutes of this game. The Precise Hunter will be up next, but he's not got a shot onto AP5, which is good, but he does have a nice range one shot into Ahsoka. Ahsoka does have one force left for Brilliant Evasion, and I believe is out of the bullseye. Oh, I will take that. So Atmos can spend his own and another calculator to get 2 damage. The debate, does he go for that though? Ahsoka only has 2. So 2 damage coming through, need at least 1 pain. Oh, that is all of the evades. The evades have finally woken up in the final moments of the game. A little happy dance off screen there for me as Ahsoka stays up, but there are still 2 Vultures left. Looks like Dutch might be the target here. More health, but no modifications and less evade dice. If Wes can soften Dutch up for the Colicoid Destroyer, this could be one damage into Dutch. All the calculators have been spent, so no damage. Dutch is up. That does mean the Colicoid is going to have to take shots into Dutch if he wants to try and finish him off. All comes down to the range, though, for those point defense batteries as to whether... I don't know if he's got range on... Yeah, I don't know if he's got range on Ahsoka with those point defense. AP5 does nothing. What can the Trident do here? There is a 2-point gap at the moment. Without an absolute miracle, this game is basically Wes's. I need to get 1 more point of damage onto Maul for half points there, and then hope that the turbo laser battery takes out the solitary Vulture that I have locked. But let's see what... That will only score 4 points, so I need Wes to... Oh, that is absolutely huge. AP5 is down to 1. That is half points there. He's got the point defense batteries and they are coming in. What will they do? Will it be the end for AP5? AP5 is down 23 points. There is now absolutely nothing I can do. This is Wes's game, but let's see what we end up on the points. It has been so close the whole way through, jumping back and forth as to who's taken the top spot. That's 2-point defense batteries. I don't know if Wes has any more left. Oh, he does. Oh, a blank out on there. So that is... Wes is going to finish on 23 points. Nothing more he can do there, but what can I do? Can I half-point Maul with that side arc? Looked like it was range 2, I believe. Range 2. Got the target lock. Hit crit into Maul. Maul is going to take that crit. That does mean Maul is half-pointed. That brings me up to 21. I can close this to a 1-point game. Turbo laser battery. Absolute overkill here. But turbo laser battery is locked on to red with 1 health. Reminder, if the turbo laser battery hits, I add 3 damage. Oh, this is going to be tight. The turbo laser hits. Regardless, don't need to add the 3, but that is 4 damage into that Trade Federation drone. That brings it to a 1-point game. That leaves our score at the end of that absolute carnage 23 points to 22. Big congratulations and big thanks to Wes for coming down to the store and playing some Epic with us. We had such a fantastic time. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed our foray back into Epic on the table. Again, let us know in the comments if you want to see more Epic, if there's any ships or any combinations that you'd like to see us try on the channel. We would be absolutely looking forward to playing some more Epic in the future. For now though, guys, again, thank you all for watching. Don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.